Hey guys, Roddy here, and today we're going to talk about, is the Galaxy Note 10 Plus 5G still worth it in 2022? Here we go. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Roddy Merritt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of tell you about my experience as a digital marketer on a daily basis with the Note 10 Plus 5G. I've had this device a little over 2 years, and well, it's getting pretty close to that time to decide, do I upgrade or do I try to hang on to this? Now, right quick, I need to stop and tell you guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down there, comment, let me know, do you think that this phone is worth it in 2022, or should I upgrade this year? Be sure to hit that notification bell so you see all of the great things, and we talk about more on tech and how you can use it in your own journey in the digital space. So let's get back to the video. Now, there are several other YouTubers out there that tell you this is one of the best designed phones, how great they are, how well it is, and well, they aren't making the Note anymore. So it's kind of nostalgic as well. So let's dive right into it. So basically I picked this phone up about 2 years ago, summer of 2020. And yeah, it's been a fantastic phone. I enjoyed the size of it. I really like the look of it. This one was actually the Aura Glow color. And if you don't know what that looks like, I'll take the case off and show you. So yeah, don't know if you can see that. Don't know how well that's showing up on camera, but the bad thing about it was, well, it was a fingerprint magnet, and that kind of sucked. I'm a case guy anyway, so I just kind of threw a case on it. This one is actually an off-brand leather case, which I think feels really nice, and the black color, you know, it is what it is. Moving forward, talking a little bit about my experience, how I use this phone on a daily basis. So this is my workhorse. It is my go-to phone to do just about anything and everything when it comes to social media marketing, social media management, digital marketing, etc. One of the key things about the phone is this little guy on the back, the camera. It is just phenomenal. I prefer this and will always choose a Samsung or nowadays an Android device when it comes to taking pictures. I prefer the processing, I prefer the interface, I prefer the ability to have multiple things and buttons and settings, filters. The whole 9 yards is just a gamut of what you can do with this small device in your pocket. No matter what I've done, even with the best updates, everything that I've tried, even in a pro mode, is video. The video quality is just not the same as it is on the iPhone, even in low light. And I have noticed situations where the iPhone does add some noise and it's not as great as it could be, but it's usable. The biggest complaint that I have is the image stabilization. No matter how hard I try to hold this phone steady, it seems like it's always shaky and very sensitive. The higher the resolution, the more you really notice it. And I just can't have that. It's almost, no, it is. It's unusable. And I really hate that, because one weird thing is, in phone, when I am shooting with it, seems like it's very stable. It seems really good. And I've gotten some great video out of it that I've actually used that, to me, the processing almost seems more cinematic than the iPhone. But the iPhone is just sharp, and then the image stabilization, it's uncomparable. Alright, let you know, this is front-facing camera, Note 10 Plus 5G. Well, all these videos will be Note 10 Plus 5G. The sun is going down. It's about 4 o'clock, almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun is like right directly in front of me. I'm facing towards it. Shooting at 16:9 in 4K 30. And we'll give you one with 4K 60. 4K 60. I'm going to give you some walking shots. This is just outside my home. Walking towards the sun, trying to get the best light, but there's a few trees and things, so it's not super duper bright, but it's not dark. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Kind of see what this looks like. Stabilization, microphone. Tell me what you think. How's this look? Now the sun is behind me. You can see kind of how that does with that lighting.
This is the front-facing camera with the portrait mode. Looks pretty good, pretty decent. This is very similar to Apple's new cinematic mode they just came out with, but just to show you, Samsung's had this for a while. You see some different lighting here. This is my face to the sun. The other was my face from the sun. You can kind of see how steady it is. It's just all handheld, no gimbal, no nothing. Note 10 Plus 5G. So kind of vlog style. This is supposed to be the portrait video. Trying that out. Cool thing about the R Glow when we had it was the back, if you didn't have a case on it, kind of acted as a mirror so you can see yourself. That was pretty cool. See what you think. And this is Pro Mode 4K 60, shooting in manual mode. There is no auto on this. White balance is at 6200K. Multifocus, speed of f2.4, and ISO is at 640. See the sun starting to set. It's the only thing about the Pro mode is you have to continuously adjust your lighting. You'd have to continuously adjust that. Alright, so this is in Pro mode, and I just hit the auto feature, which is typically the easiest. I usually get a base mark here, but Pro mode, of course, you can change your settings. You can make this darker, lighter. I'm shooting 4K 24. Alright, so kind of the same test. We're going to walk. This is the rear-facing main camera, 4K 60. It will not let me turn on the digital stabilization on the phone with the 4K 60. It will only let me do 4K 60 if I am without the digital stabilization. Tell me what you think. We'll walk down the road a little bit here, see kind of how this turns out. Okay, so I realized that this will not shoot 4K at all with the super steady mode on. This is a super steady digital stabilization. Only shoots 1080 at 30 frames. It's pretty bad. Sun is behind me. You can see it setting. You can see kind of how this all looks. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about what we just saw. So taking the Note 10 Plus 5G outside, inside, giving you some camera examples and showing you what it looked like on the selfie camera, kind of showed you how I use the main camera. I was basically showing you how I use this device and how I've tried to work with the device using multiple modes and what I've tried to use. I don't typically film with the wide angle, and I don't take a ton of photos with it unless I really need it. But for professional business use, I've very rarely taken photos with it. I like to use the main shooter because it is that main sensor that's supposed to do the best, right? So with that being said, I want to kind of show you how I use the camera, what I've used it with, how I've used it. So one of the strange things to me that Samsung limits you to is being able to use the digital image stabilization. For some reason, you hit that button and it takes you from wherever you're at as far as the capacity in which you're shooting, which I typically like to shoot 4K 30 versus 4K 60. I think it's a cleaner image. The stabilization is a little bit better. If I could get that extra bump from Samsung software, I think it could be actually usable. It would be something that I'd use because it'd be very, very close to the iPhone's ability to use its in-camera image stabilization. So iPhone still wins there and has the best, but I don't know why Samsung bumps you down to 30 frames at 1080. It didn't look very good. Maybe you guys disagree, it wasn't that bad, but to me it was pretty bad. Pro mode is really good, except for, again, stabilization is not there. The biggest thing is really the stabilization. It's very, very wobbly, and for a phone that you can shake and hear that sensor moving, kind of strange that is not very good, but maybe that's why, is the sensor's not that good.
I was very excited to update to the newest Android 12, and with Samsung being that it's not a pure Android experience, you had to update and get their One UI 4.0. To be honest, I was very excited, very excited. I posted about it on my social media, I shared it all over Twitter, and yeah, it looks great. It gave me a lot of features that I was really wanting, and I was hoping that that software update would really help the camera, but it really didn't. It gave me a lot of the features that are on some of the new phones, but the image stabilization, the processing, the graininess within video, none of that was fixed. On top of that, I've also noticed that it seems like the actual autofocus on the phone got a little worse. It still works well, but it seems like now it takes longer to process than it did before. And that's pretty much a shame. Along with that, I've noticed a lot of apps that have just really not wanted to play well, and it has actually caused me a lot of grief in my day-to-day usage with the device, as well as what I'm doing work-wise. Now, it's not a huge killer because, well, I have an iPhone next to it, and I've noticed that the iPhone, with its updates, it always gets better. Plus, it's already got a really good video camera, and it takes decent photos. They might not be the best photos when it comes to this, but they're usable and they're editable. On top of that, the iPhone, it's just typically very consistent. Either it works or it doesn't. And you know the things it does, and you either figure out a workaround or you just don't do those things. Versus this device has made me very, very comfortable with the way that it does work, and now that it doesn't, it's very frustrating. In conclusion, do I think this is a good phone for someone in 2022? Actually, no, I can't recommend it. As much as I hate to say that, this newest update, I've not seen good things out of the phone. It seems slower, and it's the first time I've ever seen that. It's the first time I've ever experienced it. 6 months ago, I would have told you, yes, this would be a great phone for you to get for around $500 or $600 in 2022, but not now. To upgrade this phone and get all the newest software means you compromise the ability for this phone to work. It's just not optimized for what it's trying to do. I've never, ever, ever to this day, almost 3 years later, experienced any problems out of this device. Now all of a sudden, I'm having battery last me to the end of the day, but having to charge it when it used to be a day and a half. I'm noticing that I have to go into the optimizer to make sure that things are running correctly. I've noticed that I have apps that won't open, no matter if I'm on 5G or really strong Wi-Fi. And trust me, I checked the speed of my Wi-Fi and I'm getting over 300 up and down. It's super strong. So it's not the connection. It's just, I don't know, it seems like it has taken a big hit on performance. And for a phone that, well, is best for work and not so much play, that just doesn't cut it for me.